but we're here and we need to help each other and we need to support each other and sustain each other. And part of that comes through consciousness. So one of the things that happened over the 2 days that have happened so far, people have been responding in the chat. They have been lifted out of a sense of despair. They have been lifted out of a sense of frustration, and I don't know what to do. And I don't know, I'm kind of feeling kind of lost. And this environment has provided an opportunity to go to 22 and you. So that's what we're doing. I'm not going to talk about what 22 means to me, but we all have more than 23 strands of DNA, but that's a learning curve that we're on. And the more that we activate those strands of DNA going into the future, the more consciousness we will have to share with everyone, and you will have to share as a speaker. So I'm going to share now because you may not know that much about me. I'm pretty sure you don't know a lot about me unless I've had an opportunity to be on a program or a podcast. The other thing that I want to bring a cure for is high-speed networking. I find that to be maddening. That high speed, you've got 90 seconds to tell me all about who you are. Forget that. That's ridiculous. That's just makes no sense for anybody. So the object of 22 and you is when you come in to this summit, which I'm going to do quarterly, you are guaranteed to have 22 minutes to share what's new, what's growing you, what's making you feel either inspired or you are in a slump and you need some support. You will have 22 minutes to speak. You don't have to rush through an introduction. You'll always be able to share all your links and information, and you can always invite anybody to come anytime you're going to speak, or you just let know people that 22 and You Living Lessons Library is available whenever they want it. Okay, so now I'm going to share a couple of things with you, and it's great because we're waiting for other people to arrive before it's your time to speak, and I'm watching the clock. All right, I'm going to share this. Now, you may not know this information about me, but this is one of the key functions of Living Lessons Library as a private membership association, is to recognize that there are situations that come up that traditional medicine can't always handle without some challenges. And so I developed a water-based care solution. It's been beta tested to be incredibly powerful for medication-resistant skin infections and more. And I also had wonderful results working with long-haul COVID survivors. So I talk here, there's a report, the latest 2019 CDC report, about the organisms in our everyday world that can bring up a challenge. Now, MRSA is something that most people know about. And MRSA is really, really difficult. And MRSA has become an antibiotic-resistant threat. However, I'm going to share with you, and when you come to this webpage, if you do, you will hear testimonials about, that's Al. Al had, he'd been in the hospital. He'd been under treatment with intravenous antibiotics for 5 months for his MRSA. It wasn't helping. Then we have here Tressa's toe. Tressa was also stricken with an antibiotic-resistant infection. In one of her toes, she was caring for her young 6-month-old grandson. They both loved to go for long walks. She couldn't walk. She was in excruciating pain. 30 days on the antibiotics had not helped her. This is what Tressa's toe looked like when she contacted me. Do you see the toe with the big hole? Do you see the 5 days after she started using my product? That's what had transitioned for her. And she'd been on antibiotics for 3 months. And what was on the left was what she still had when she contacted me. This is a topical solution. It's water-based. You apply it with dropper. And she began to see results in 12 hours and to feel relief. And she began to take pictures. And I have all the pictures she took over the 3 days that it took her to be back walking with her grandson. Okay. Real, beta tested, proven. There you go. It's just amazing where she got to in such a quick period of time. Now, this is like, I know it's a little gruesome, but on the left, you can see Al's, right here, it's on the right. This is what his MRSA looked like before he got to me. And that was after 5 months of intravenous antibiotics before using my product. This is after 10 days. This is after 2 weeks. And Al had consulted a plastic surgery, a surgeon to help him. And the surgeon said, I can't help you. You're still actively infected. Come back when the infection is cleared up. Well, Al went back after he got to this stage. He went back to the plastic surgeon and he said, okay, can we do the plastic surgery now? And the doctor said to him, you don't need it now. Okay. So I want people to be aware that this is available, and I'm making it only available through members of Living Lessons Library until in 2026, I find the right business partner, the health and wellness partner who will help me take this as an internationally distributed product. Okay, so that's a little bit about my story. And I'm all about enhanced quality of life and faster healing at any level, physical, emotional, mental, whatever. But these are highlighted 2 stories of 2 men that I worked with when I went to Moscow, Russia in 1991, because I actually could go and work as an energy healer in hospitals, which I would never have been allowed to do in the United States. And so I worked with a critical burn patient at the Moscow Institute of Diagnosis and Surgery. You can read the information. You'll have the link to the website. He had 3rd-degree burns of both hands from an industrial accident, and he was a brittle diabetic. And I have produced a documentary about this work, which I also have available to share. And then I had a wonderful gift of working with Mr. Mironov, who had fallen into a fire. His leg was burned down to the bone from below his knee to just above his ankles. And his doctors were frantic because they couldn't find a way to do anything to put a skin graft on. They couldn't get any stem cells growing. And his doctor came to me. He wasn't an assigned patient and said, could I help? I said, I don't know. I don't know if I can help, but I'll try. And so working with Mr. Mironov, that's a beautiful story. I'm not going to tell all of it, but I worked with him for 6 weeks when I was in Moscow, and then I left because I had to go back home to my family. When I returned the next year to work with this same medical facility, I learned that Mr. Mironov, they were able to do the skin graft. My work did produce stem cells, and he walked out of that hospital on his own 2 feet as I promised him he would. Okay? So this is the part of me that a lot of people don't know about. And we are in a time where knowing this information could be a relief for suffering and life-saving for some people. So that's that. And I wanted you to know about that. Now, if you didn't know about that before, just say something and let me know, because I'm trying to make sure new people who didn't know get to know. And you can speak up if you want to. I mean,
I didn't I did not know that, but it is fascinating and I so needed. Yeah.
Yeah, because what the medical world has to offer, because they still have limited understanding about 23andMe. There are things that they don't know how to do yet. And I'm here to push through that membrane and say, well, why don't we try this? You can do everything that you're doing, as I did in the hospital. They did everything that they always did. I did what I did. And what I did added a little bit more to the situation and produced faster results. I also, in that time, worked with 6 children with 4-stage Hodgkin's lymphoma in the Moscow Institute of Diagnosis and Surgery. Beautiful children from age 6 to age 14. And in the first 6 weeks before I left, 4 of them had gone into complete remission. And the medical director of that particular unit, the oncology, pediatric oncology, came and said, begged me. He said, you can't leave. You can't leave. 6 weeks. I said, I have a family. I have to go home, but I'll come back. And the second year, I did go back and I brought 4 American energy healers with me. And we worked with a community of Russian energy healers. And we did a co-creation and formed an international conference during that time. So when I invite you to maybe become part of something that I'd like to grow here, as we're now looking at some very challenging times, the invitation has been made.